Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Jo, this channel is Joey Sewy, and today you have tuned in to my What Have I Been Sewing in July video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and if you're not already a subscriber, I would love it if you would subscribe down below. I do content about twice a week at the moment, and you can also find me on Instagram. It's all about the sewing and occasionally little digressions, but all about the sewing. So today I have got two brand new tops to share with you, plus a complete change of one top and some kind of update and news on other projects that I'm working on. So I'm going to go straight into it with the top that I'm wearing. Now I've arranged I've arranged my mirror behind me so you can see the back of it. So let's have a look at the back first of all. I was very pleased with that, by the way. So you can see it's a deep V back there, and you can see it's a deep V here as well. I've got a fancy necklace which cost me a lot of money. It was £1.50 in a charity shop. And my next video actually coming up is going to be a charity shop eBay haul, so accessories and things that I don't necessarily make for myself that will go with my Me Made, so you can look out for that next week. But anyway, the sewing. So this is a deep V neck here and a deep V there. So if I turn around, you can see me in the mirror and you can see the V there and the V there. Now I was cloning a ready-to-wear top with this one, and I'll just get it out of my wardrobe. So I don't have a pattern for you to follow, but you can go to Tailor Nova, and what I did to get this pattern is I did the deepest V neck, and then I made a t-shirt sleeve, but actually in the end what I did was I laid down, so this is my ready to wear top, and you can see deep V, deep V. I got it in the sale at Jigsaw and I really liked it, so I wanted to make more of it. So I did, this doesn't fit perfectly, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, and I'm going to make more because I love the shape, but it needs a few tweaks. But how I got this pattern was kind of a merge of two ways. First, I went to the Tailor Nova website, who are my sponsors, but this video is not sponsored. And I took a pattern for knits, fitted, put a deep V on the front, and I think on the back, I think you could do both. And then I did print out a pattern that had sleeves, but actually when I looked at the shape of this, if you have a look at the side of that, there's virtually no sleeve. So instead what I did was, when I had the pattern cut out on paper, I lay this down on top of it and I just shaped the sleeve, and it was very little extra shaping to the arm. So if I turn my arm out like that, you can see there is a sleeve effect because there's no sleeve piece. There is a sleeve there, and if I put my arm to my side, you can see that it's not sleeveless in style. There is a sleeve, but it's a grown-on sleeve and it's very small, so I basically did it by eye. So instead of having that scoop of the armhole, which you would get on a regular sleeved t-shirt, I laid this on top and I just followed the curve out instead. The other thing you can see from this, which also is a feature on mine, is that the cuffs here are bound. So there are cuffs, that's what I really mean, isn't it? They're not bound at all. I'm talking rubbish. So instead of hemming the sleeve cuffs, there is a piece of fabric that is folded double, and I really like that effect. I like it for two reasons. One is because on me, I want to do things that will widen my shoulders because I have quite narrow and sloped shoulders. It adds a little bit of a standout there. But the second is a sewer's reason, which is it means you don't have to hem knits. Now I have a cover stitch, I can hem knits, but actually I think this is so much more of a neat solution that I really liked that. So this is the top I was copying. That is how I copied it. Let's talk about whether it worked or not. Well, on a basic level, it worked. I like how it looked. So I'm going to talk to you in the mirror again. So I like how it looks, but you can see that it keeps sliding off my shoulder. So the black one doesn't do that. And if I held them together, I thought I was getting pretty close, but clearly I didn't get close enough. So when I make this again, and it is a when, not an if, because I love the shape, of the black one especially, I'm going to make it slightly narrower at this part of the V. I think where it goes down to here is perfectly good. I might do the back a little bit higher, simply because I think that will make it more wearable in colder seasons today. Today, the day of filming, it is the 5th of August. Earlier today, I went out for a walk and I got drenched through so much that I had to change every single item of clothing when I got home. And I was wearing a coat. I was wearing a coat, a hat, a vest, a jumper, some trousers, underpants and a bra, and socks and shoes, and everything had to come off and be replaced. It was that wet. Of course, now I'm choosing to film, the rain has stopped, and I should have really done them the other way around. But this is the Lake District and we've got lakes for a reason. Anyway, I don't remember how I got there. Digression. Oh dear, this is the way my brain's working today. Heaven knows where we're going to go with this video. But fitting, this is a little bit wide. I want it to be slightly narrower there. I remember now, it was about the back being a bit low, wasn't it? So I think if I made it again, I would make the back probably just straight across. And that is going to help with this falling off issue, because if I make the back straight across, there's something to hold it. I also think I need to do a little bit of adjustment. Haven't quite decided or worked out what for my slight rounded back. So if I stand like that, I will not use the term dowager's hump. Number one, because it's not true, and number two, because it is frankly a horrible phrase. But I do have a rounded upper back somewhat. So I need to do just something. This fits quite well if I pull it forwards like that. It stays, well, it sort of stays better, but I've moved the shoulder seams to here, which is not where they should be. They should be further back. But I really like the shape. If I step back and show you it. So I've got this tucked in because I don't really want it to end at my hip line, but I will show you where it ends. And it's a very in and out. I hope you can see that with the light background. Maybe if I do that, you'll be able to see that shape better. There you go. So the shape curves in, and actually on the ready to wear t-shirt there are some darts, which you don't get a lot in a knit t-shirt, but I think that's one of the reasons why it fits so lovely, so lovelily. There are darts on the front and the back. And I think the final mistake I made, so I do like what I've done, but I did make, not mistakes, but I've learned quite a lot that I will do next time, is that I thought the front and the back were pretty much identical, and they're not. There is definitely a difference in the V at the front and the back, or at least there is hung on the hanger, but the thing I've only just noticed, I didn't put the darts in my top, and I'm still not sure if I will or not. But the darts at the front are narrower, so they will be pointing up toward, they don't come as high as the bust apex, but they will be pointing there. And the darts at the back are much wider, so that's quite interesting. Anyway, so I like the wide V because I think it's really flattering. I think it helps with the shoulder balancing out issue. If you don't follow me on Instagram, or if you don't watch a lot of my videos, you won't already know that I'm working with a stylist at the moment on a style journey, and later in August I'm going to have a one-to-one session, which I'm very excited about, even though it has to be over Zoom at the moment. And one of the things we've done in the style course, which is a group thing you do, is, I know I'm pear shape, I've known that for a long time, and I've been getting to know my shoulders. I didn't really realise they were quite as sloped as they were until you guys started pointing it out, frankly. And so I'm learning how to create balance. So this, you know, dressing for your body is not about hating your body at all. It's about understanding proportions and balance. It doesn't matter what size you are, it doesn't matter what shape different bits of you are. It's understanding how the different shapes you put on your body will emphasize or de-emphasize those differences. So if you want to show those differences, like in an hourglass shape, then you do things that show it. But if you don't want to show narrower shoulders, you wouldn't do anything that would make your eye see that a narrow line coming up to the shoulders, for example. So a wide line going out to the shoulders works really well on me. Anyway, I have learnt a lot. And I'm hoping I am going to do quite a few videos on it when I've digested it all and chatted to Anna about how much of her content she's willing to share, because it is her intellectual property, as well as a general topic. Anyway, I digress again. Next, I'm going to put something over the top of this t-shirt. So I've just changed into my jeans, and I just thought I'd show you how, these are ginger jeans, I wear these all the time. I just thought I'd show you how this looks in my ginger jeans, because I think you get the kind of in and out, wide and narrow quite well. And the thing I'm going to put on top to layer is this pink shirt. So this pattern is a bootstrap pattern, which is the same company as Tailor Nova. They are a custom sized pattern line. So Bootstrap and Tailor Nova vary in this way. Bootstrap is a whole bunch of pre-designed patterns that you put in a lot of detailed measurements about, and then the pattern, which is predefined, comes out in your measurements. Tailor Nova is a piece of software that has no predefined patterns but has lots of building blocks, so you build your own patterns, and then you also put some custom measurements in but not quite as much detail, and they come out with custom patterns. So over time those two brands are going to merge, and eventually Tailor Nova will have all the detailed measurements and the ability to build any pattern that you want eventually. At the moment, Bootstrap has more unique measurements. So if that's your priority and you find a pattern that you like on there, then it might be the best place to go if you can find exactly the pattern that you want. But if you want to play at being a pattern designer, or even be a pattern designer, then you can go to Tailor Nova, and you can still get as good a fit as you would get from any regular pattern, because you can even put in dress sizes, or you can put in your own sizes, just not quite as much detail. There's about 10 pieces of information you give to Tailor Nova, and there's about 20 that you give to Bootstrap, estimation, but that's the difference. Anyway, this is a Bootstrap Bootstrap Fashions pattern. I have made this once before. Now it's called a Victorian collar blouse because it's got a gathered collar here. I think I might have to take the necklace off so you can see it. I have made it in a crinkle jersey, which is from Minerva. So if I turn around, you can probably see those crinkles. I am loving the crinkles because it means you don't have to iron things. I actually don't mind ironing too much, but something that can go in a case and come out again, and it doesn't matter whether you've crushed it, is pretty cool in my view. And I actually do like the effect of the crinkle. So I'm just going to move you down so you get a better view of the garment. So you can see the t-shirt under there. It's a very lightweight fabric, and this fabric was gifted to me. But it's a very lightweight jersey. The pattern is not made for jersey, but depending on your confidence in sewing with jersey, you absolutely can sew it with jersey. So it's made for woven. So if you'd rather make this in like a cotton lawn, you need something that's going to take the gathers gently. And there is a link to this pattern down below. And the gathers take the place of bust darts. So there are no bust darts in the side here. The more bust you have, slightly more gathers you're going to have around the collar. So bear that in mind. The sleeves are set-in sleeves, and because it's sized for me, even with my tiny shoulders, the shoulder seam is directly on my shoulder, which is pretty good. And I like this layered. So if I step back, you can see I'm kind of wearing it like a jacket, but also I like it tied and at the waist like that. I think the colour of this is really good for me. Stop messing with my necklace. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out the t-shirt, and I'll show you this fastened up as well, because the t-shirt's a little bit bulky underneath. I'll just show you a couple of things I did in sewing it. So this is the shoulder seam, and I pretty much always do this when I sew jersey, is I put some ribbon of some kind, this was just in my stash, into the shoulder seam when I overlock it. So you can see I overlock the seam. The same would be true if you were going to zigzag the seam. And then I use interfacing on the button band. So I'm switching out jersey for, I'm switching out woven for jersey. So it is knit interfacing, and it's on the button band. So it stabilizes the button band, and that's really important to do. So here are my buttons, and then I'll show you my buttonholes because I am quite proud with how they came out. So there are the buttonholes. I've got all sorts of different coloured top stitching thread going on here because I was using it up as I went along. I didn't have a lot of pink. There is how it looks done up. You can do it all the way up. Honestly, I would never wear it like that, I don't think. Well, no, I suppose there are times when I might wear it, so let's show that. So there you can see the gathers really well. You can see the buttons. I don't think that wearing it untucked is the best shape for me because it puts a bigger line across my body at my widest part. So I think either tied as I did before or tucked in. That's how it looks tucked in. There's the back. The first time I made this in a white jersey, and I put a yoke into the back which isn't part of the pattern, and I omitted it this time, as you can see in the mirror. Because putting the yoke in created a wavy line, and to be honest with you, it didn't add anything to the design. And since then I've looked at a few ready to wear jersey shirts and they very rarely use the yoke, probably because it's difficult to handle jersey on that long seam across here. It's just really difficult to handle. So I think if you're going to swap out jersey with any shirt pattern, or swap in jersey with any shirt pattern, I would advise don't bother with the yoke unless you've got a particular design reason to do it. So I have done it. This is probably my favourite shirt ever. And this is the Granville shirt, but it's made in a ridiculously stretchy jersey. And I did put a yoke in. In this one, you can see here, this is a really lightweight cotton that I interfaced the yoke. So that did help to handle that. You can do it. And as you can see there, the stripes was why I did it, because I thought that looked amazing. I love this shirt. I made this before I started talking to you guys on my YouTube channel, before my YouTube channel even existed. So you've never seen that one. So this shirt is my second and final kind of formal, just made this month standard thing. The next thing I'm going to tell you about is something that I made last month and I really didn't like, and I asked your opinion on. Well, I really wasn't sure about it. It was the Wixton Shift, and I will insert some pictures of how it started. I got lots of feedback about this from some of you who are like, yep, it's absolutely fine as it is. Wear a belt, don't wear a belt, cut it off, don't cut it off. And I liked that I got all sorts of different voices, because in one way, obviously it didn't direct me in one particular direction, which might have been frustrating, but I took it a different way, because I took it that really it was for me to decide what I felt comfortable with. And I looked at it for a long time, and it was before I started my style journey stuff, which has probably changed my opinion slightly again, but I didn't like it as a dress. I did not like it as a dress, so it isn't a dress anymore. I'm actually not sure I like it at all, but I have done a lot to change it, so let's have a look at that. So here it is on the hanger. The obvious thing I have done is I have hand embroidered all over it. So let me show you that. I have been putting it in a hoop and basically embroidering this design, which just came out of my brain. What I did was I laid it down on a table, and what did I get? I got some bowls out of the cupboard and I drew around with a washable marker. That's what I did. Oh, not a marker, it was a washable fabric marking pen. In fact, it's so washable that I haven't washed it and it's already come out. But that's good, it's better than the alternative. And I just went around the circles, and then I did this crisscross design, which, like I said, I just made it up as I went along. And it is simply that, let me get you a close up so you can, if you want to do the same design, you can see that each long strand comes up, and then what I do is a tiny little stitch there, and then it comes down again, and then a tiny little stitch there and there. So each one is just kind of doing I suppose it's sort of like a figure eight. It doesn't create a figure eight. And then you go around the whole circumference like that, and then you keep going. So quite a lot of feedback was that this wasn't bright enough for me. Absolutely true. That colour, no, not on its own. It's quite a good foil or background for brighter colours. So that's what I was starting. I was kind of doing an inbuilt statement necklace, if you like. So I'm going to put this on and we can discuss further. So here you go. As you can see, it is no longer a dress. I suppose for some people that's a dress. It's not a dress for me. Although if I had leggings on, I would wear it with leggings. You can see that I added the bright colours there, and I definitely think that does a lot to the top. If I turn around, I didn't change the yoke, and the biggest thing I didn't change was I didn't change the fit of the shoulders. The fit of the shoulders is still wrong. It falls. I keep wanting to pull it forwards. So I'll pull it forwards. The shoulder seam sits on my shoulders. Once I start moving, it drags backwards like that. It looks okay. It will do. Like I say, I'm not 100% whether I'm going to wear this very much or not. I might not. I haven't decided. I didn't feel there was a point in adjusting that. And to be honest, the pattern itself would have needed so much adjustment. I'm not going to be making this pattern again. It's not the right pattern for my body shape. The shoulder thing is clearly a known issue. When you start researching the Wixton Shift, I don't think I said, this is the Wixton Shift from Wixton. And the drafting of the shoulder seam and needing to do a forward shoulder adjustment, which is where you take the shoulder seam, which is falling backwards, and you put it where it should be, which is approximately here, is the case for a lot of people. So it's something that my body exacerbates because I've got that round in my back, but it's something that happens anyway. And I just decided there wasn't enough unique and to love about this top for me. A lot of people do love it, but it just hasn't gone that way for me, that I'm not going to be making this again. But I think I may have saved it to be useful. I don't know. So these are skinny jeans, and that looks okay, I suppose. It's not the most flattering shape I've ever put on. I think it would look better with leggings. I have made it kind of, I hope, I've made it long enough that I can wear it with leggings so it covers my bottom. And I have done a high-low hem, but because of my shape, it's going to look a lot better if I can manage to tuck it in. So I think if we do that, it's a bit bulky because I haven't flattened it out, but that already starts to look much more wearable. The fabric is a little bit stiff to do this because I've made it so long. There's a lot of fabric to tuck in. Yes, that's better. That's better. I am now kind of a bit one colour. I don't know. I think that's a bit too much one colour. The embroidery does help, but yeah, I'm still not sure. Watch out on Instagram and you will see whether I actually start wearing it or not. And if you don't see it, then I just put it down to experience. I enjoyed doing the embroidery. That was good. So this is what I did with my Wixton Shift. I embroidered it. I chopped it off. I took the pockets off as well. It did have pockets. And now I think it's an okay top. Let's see let me try it with a different pair of trousers. So these are also ginger jeans. They're exactly the same pattern, but these are a light grey and they have a spot on them. And I think that's probably better than the all navy that we had before. I've still tried the half tuck. Yeah, that's probably better. You can tell I'm still not convinced. We will see. The jury's out on this one. So the other thing I made last month, if you remember, is this top. I'll put a picture up. The fabric was beautiful. I loved it, but I'd made a total hash of making it. So it is currently in pieces. I've taken it to pieces, very carefully unpicked it, and it's going to be the same sort of style, but I've been umming and ahhing over and being a bit chicken about doing it again. I haven't decided whether I'm going to completely face the whole of the front so that the front armholes get faced that way, or whether I'm just going to make it again but better and bias bind the armholes. The fabric was it's like a faux silk satin. It's really nice fabric, but it's slippery and it shifts, and yeah, it's not the easiest to make stay put. So I haven't quite decided what to do yet. I think I am pretty sure that I'm going to change the neckline to the Kabuki T neckline, which I've made several times, and I know that that neckline goes over my head, so I don't need any other fastenings. It doesn't feel too wide, so I think that's a good neckline for that top. So it is a work in progress, currently in pieces over there actually. And the other project that I wanted to just give you a quick update on was the wedding dress that I was designing, and unfortunately, due to global pandemics, the wedding has been cancelled until next Easter, so that project isn't going to be moving forward anytime soon, which is a bit of a shame, but also a bit of a relief for me because it was a lot of work. So what I have sewn this month, you've seen the things I've sewn, but what you haven't seen is the 5, count them, toiles I've done of the wedding dress. I feel like I've bitten off a little bit more than I can chew with some of the fitting, because my bride, she doesn't have an unusual body shape at first glance. It's perfectly fine, but it does have some nuances of fit that the Tailor Nova software don't deal with, and I'm having to work out on the fly, hence the 5 painful toiles. Luckily, she's also very patient and was already a friend. But yeah, that is not taking place in 2020. So that project is going to go and sleep for a while, which I'm a little bit relieved about, to be honest. I was sad for her. So they're going to wait until they can do it the way they want to. And that concludes my sewing for this month. As I said, I am just about to film today, but you won't see it for a week, a haul of accessories and eBay finds. So it's not strictly sewing, but it's all about building my me-made or my unique wardrobe. So please tune in again really soon for that. And in the interim, there will also be a Tailor Nova sponsored video all about my best tips for PDF patterns, because I just love PDF patterns. I have no sewing shop where I can buy patterns. I'm far too impatient to wait through the post. So PDF patterns save my life, and I'm going to tell you my best tips for getting on with them. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still there and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, go on. And I will see you again very soon with another video. Bye.